Okay, what do you think about another format which is not 10 millimeters, not which is not 1 inch and not APS-C? It is this one, Lumix GH5 or 6 or 9 or whatever. So they have that format, which is kind of strange to me. Some people like it, some people are skeptical. I would be actually one of the guys who would consider it a skeptical format. So this is 4/3, they call it 4/3. Why I'm skeptical? Because I think I'm more like a film guy. You know, in the past, if you wanna be like for cinematography, you use normally 35 millimeters, but in reality they don't use 35 millimeters. Sensor size. In reality they were using 24 millimeters. So I guess I'm kind of a film guy. So suppose this 1 inch, 1 inch, which is like Sony phone, Pro phone, or some of those action cams, they have 1 inch or less. Now, so this is Sony. Now 4/3 is a little bigger. To me, actually, 4/3 is okay for the phone, but for a camera, I don't know. I would actually, if I would have like Panasonic company, I would make actually a phone with this sensor. So at night it's probably gonna be, it would be probably the best phone, my opinion. I think this phone, like during the dark time, would outperform 1 inch phones and cameras. It's probably for like the most expensive phones. I would probably try that one. Now I'm looking at 35. This is 35. This is the top one. So this 35, this for the film. This 35, this is 24. So normally cinema, they were using film not like that, but like that. So the film not like this, but like that. So they use this 24, right? 24, and if I would say, what do they have, like 24 by something, whatever they have, half of it, 17, whatever, 24 by 17, I believe, the APS-C, but some of them a little bit less. They are not all the same. They say APS-C, but they touch less, touch more. So anyway, let's suppose this half. So if you cut like this half of this big one, 35, this big one, this would be super 35. Which, if I turn this like that, it would be kind of size of this half. Now, this was normal for many movies. For if you want to go to like film festival, the less would be kind of, you're on a smaller scale, you would go with 16. But if you're on a bigger scale, that would be 35. But if you're on even bigger scale, you would go with 70. In 90s, when no digital so much, like I would say like 92, 93, 94. So in 90s, 91, mostly commercials were done on 70 millimeter, like those McDonald's big names. They had 70 millimeter. I'm not sure how they count 70. So if they say Super 35, in reality they use 24. If they say 70, it's probably they use that 120 film or some other film with perforation, but it was 70 for big names commercials, so that would be another format. But if they say 70, it does not mean it's 70, like they have Super 35, but in reality they use 24 by 17. So maybe I don't know how they count this. So it was 70, certain size. That was for big. So in my mind it's like that. The big one is like for McDonald's or big names, or probably Japanese. They had commercials in 80s or beginning of 90s on 70 millimeters. Or sometimes they were shooting on 35. Like many movies were done on 35, but I believe some movies were done on 70 millimeters. Now, if you're on the low scale, you can get into some kind of those competition, I guess, or film festival. You can show your movie, and that was done in 16 millimeters film. Now 16 millimeters in reality is not 16. 16 millimeter film frame size. I don't know if they even give me this. Standard 16 is 10.26 by 7. So basically 10 by 7. Let's see, we're looking back. What is 4/3 size? Oops. 4. Sensor. So it was different. 18 by 13. So 18 by 13. Oh, 18 by 13. So it's like it's bigger than this. So this one was known, this format was known as for small screen. Like people put like screen, like the longest part is like 1.5 meter. It's a small screen. It's a screen that you can put like behind your door or some closet, and you roll it, you roll it, and you hand somewhere. It's a small screen, maybe 1 meter long or 1.5 max. So that was known as film for small. Now, anytime you talk about film, you should not compare that with a negative film, because this, what they call positive film, or they call slide film, the grain is much better. It's much better for the grain. So whoever is saying, oh, he's not a real photographer because he's shooting on negative film, in some sense it's correct, because it would be too much grain. If you want less grain, you shoot on slide film. Many pro photographers they were using slide film. That's why 35 they were using for big screen, because the grain is not the same as negative. But it's harder to shoot on slide film, because if you're a little bit wrong, it will be either too much light or too much dark. You need to be super precise for shooting and super precise for temperature when you process, because some temperature can increase processing too much or decrease, and you have underdeveloped or overdeveloped film. So that film processing, it should be completely top-notch film processing for the slide film. But anyway, this would be a smaller size for a small screen. Now you cannot really compare this one and digital, because if you look at grains, there is so little of grain, and if you want to make so many megapixels, I don't think there is technology that can do that. I was told actually a 35 film, if you count all the grains, it will be easily 200 megapixels. So whatever this, whatever we have, those sensors, they don't really reproduce every single grain. Every single grain is less than pixels. There is no technology can reproduce every single grain. It's just crazy pixels. So some say 200, some even say more than it. So if you look at the grain, and especially if you use slide, it's even probably even more than that. You are stepping into like 35 is like probably 400 megapixels or 500, because those small particles are so small, they're way smaller than people can produce, because the pixels, the density and all that. Anyway, so basically that one, the sensor wise, it's okay, but I don't think expensive cameras should have that 4/3 sensor. I would say this for vlogging, for top of the phones. I've seen some camcorders, they have 1 inch. I honestly don't like those kind of cameras. You need to have a lot of light, definitely. If you have a lot of light, then it's okay. If you look at the spec sensitivity, for normal shooting, you need to have a lot of light for those small sensors. So my personal opinion, I'm okay with APC Super 35, but those 4/3, I would say for vlogging or travel or something like that. I would not really consider that for big commercial work. I guess in my mind, in the past, some were shooting with 70mm film, if money allow, for commercial. For movies, it was too expensive, so they were using 35, which is like this, but half. So now, if you look at this camera, I honestly, in some way, I do like GH52. In some way, it's okay for vlogging, for like easy travel. But like this one, it's okay. It costs $1,000. It's not really a cheap camera. So, but sometimes when they have the same body, I've seen like this one, like let's say GH5 with S5 2x images. I've seen some of pictures like they are together and they're almost the same. There is only difference inside. One has like a big sensor, another small one. Like you see this one like a small one, and the rest like black or whatever. But this one like has like a big sensor. So for some reason I'm not feeling very comfortable. They like big huge camera like this and tiny sensor. That sensor is not for low light, I can tell you that. Because in order, it's like you suppose you have on a roof that, you know, to generate electricity you have those special black kind of panel, solar panels, right? Some have, not everybody, but so the bigger the surface, the more light it will get in general. So this one will get more light because of the surface. It will outperform by output. Output would be higher if the surface is bigger for the light. This, to me, it should be like, it's possible, but probably you need to amplify. You need to, the signal is too low, you need to have super amplifiers because not enough light. And I can tell when I look at footage, somebody shooting with GH5 or GH6, it looked like a little bit not enough light. Looked like something missing. Somebody took the light. So, you know, to me, that's for small things. It's okay. I do like lenses. They have this. I think I like that one, Samilux. Lux 18mm, I like this. No, not 18, it's 9. That format is, you need to, it's 2x crop. So Samilux 9mm. I do like this one for that camera. Normally you cannot get Samilux for that price. It would be completely like cheap. Some might say it's a steal. How good that is, I don't know. Maybe good, maybe not. But if it has real that kind of glass, that's a good price. It's not 2,000-3,000. It's only $497. So I like this lens. So that would be, you have 2x crop, so this multiplied by 2, this like 18 millimeters. 18 millimeters, like full frame. And I like also, I like 12. 12 would be like 24. I think they have some like 12. Yeah, this one. Oh, this price go up already. But anyway, I do like the 9 and 12. This would be 24 and that one would be like 18. For tight shots, 18. This would be less distortion. This lens is more like, I would say, they call it you know, like documentary kind of movie. When you make documentary, this would be 24 or 28. That's a good 24, 28. It's two good lenses. Sometimes 35, but many times documentary like 28. But 24 press in the past, press was using 24. full frame. So I do like, but this camera, this particular camera, the autofocus is a problem, and GH6 autofocus kind of problem. You need to basically, you if you want to have that, don't rely too much on it. Focus manually and shoot and stop. Focus manually, shoot, stop. Otherwise, I see people rely on autofocus. You cannot rely too much. In cinema, in fact, they don't rely too much. They don't use autofocus. It's called depth of field. You use depth of field. Depth of field is from here to here will be sharp. So if you set for, like, suppose 2 meters, depth of field for 2 meters, you can go tack, do whatever, move any way you want. It will be sharp. It will be better than with autofocus on, because autofocus is constantly trying to go after you, but they have aperture not for depth of field. They have super shallow depth of field, so sometimes it's out of focus and sometimes in focus. But in cinema they don't really make that shallow. A little shallow, not that one. If you look at the movie, they move around within, suppose, 1-2 meters, it will be sharp. And they can move within those 1-2 meters, and it's okay. So I mean, if you shoot like that, it's okay, I guess. Leica. So Leica is, you see, the same, because they work with Japanese. They have that ED, UED. So 1, 2, 3, that's normal. 2, 3, big lenses have more. 5 sometimes. That's huge, like 600 millimeters. They might have more than that. I do like GH6, but it's not focusing good. What I like about GH6, they have ventilation. Ventilation. If you look at the side, you look at the side like this. Oops. But anyway, on the side like this one, you see? See on the side here? You see ventilation. I like that part. So if I would buy that, I would probably would not rely too much on autofocus if it's not good. And I would try to get those lenses I was showing with good aperture, like 1.7 or whatever, to give more light for the sensor. Then it's okay. But in general, I can tell you, in the past, for big boys, people were shooting on 17mm film. 35, it's kind of a lower budget commercial. So 35, which is super 35 today. So today, if you want to shoot commercial, to me, for those like McDonald's, you need to have full frame. If not big like that, then probably super 35. But this would be more like for travel vlogging to me. I like GH6, suppose with 9mm. I like that 9mm. I don't have. Maybe I'll buy someday. But I don't like that they design everything big but sensor small. I just cannot accept it. To me, if sensor small, the body should be small. You know, like I think what they should do is the GH6. They should not make body big like this. It looks kind of goofy. Anyway, 9 millimeters. Where's 9? This is 9 probably. It looks too much light. No, that's zoom. But anyway, there is 9. This one. Like that. So I like this 18 and Lumix. Now, what I want to say is, I think honestly with that sensor size, which is smaller than APS-C, they kind of like play smaller Leica. Leica usually is, normal Leica in the past is 35 millimeters. Actually, I might get this one because right now some think it's cool to shoot on film. I might get this one, like it's called R8. I might get it. So this was R8 and R9. This is the last model, R9 film, 35 film. This is normal like size, and they don't have so much Sony Luxy for R. They have, I think, more for M. But for R you can buy, I think there are some 50 millimeters or whatever. I might get this one, R8 or R9. So this would be normal size, and they have, you see, this is normal 35 millimeters. So this would be kind of like a miniature Leica kind of, because this is not 35, it's like a half. I think it's half, because if you have crop factor 2x, it means half of the 35. So it's kind of miniature Leica. I mean, affordable miniature Leica, but it's not the same as like that one I was showing. It's not like 35. Now I think if they want to play on the same level, I think they should consider this one, like Nikon Z6, no, Z3, sorry, Z330. It's pretty good camera actually, more sharp than I expected. This camera is $6.99. Actually you can get for less. Oh no, that's $6.99. They have special package, I guess, right now, special promotion. This camera is $700, costs less than some of Sony 1-inch, but if you look at footage, this is so sharp and so good. So this camera is basically APS-C, which is bigger than, you know, that 4/3, but the body, see, the body look kind of small. So I think this, that like that, you know, that Panasonic, the small sensor, I think for that kind of body it will fit okay, kind of like live together, this small and body small. I think they should make cameras like that, in my opinion. But when they make huge cameras the same size as full frame, but the sensor is half, to me, I cannot really accept that. To me, that is somewhere. I think they would, if they play miniature Leica, then you make miniature this kind of cameras, more sub-top kind of cameras. Don't forget to have a jack, because Panasonic, for some reason, for small cameras, they don't have headphone jack. And today many people use wireless, you know, those DJI or some other name, Saramonic or whatever. So today, for a good sound, they might don't need microphone, but you should be able to connect that transmitter, receiver, no, whatever, you have one here, another one. one is receiver. I guess that receiver you put on top of hot shoe, but you need to be able to connect it 3.5 or USB-C, because on DJI action cam you don't need 3.5. You can connect USB-C. It will recognize microphone, it will work with microphone, but I don't know if this USB-C will accept microphone. If you don't want additional jack, then run wires to USB-C for the DJI microphones or any other wireless microphones. Because I think one of the reasons why Panasonic cannot sell cameras, because they don't have a headphone jack, and people cannot use microphones or wireless. They need to rely on the built-in stuff, and the sound, I guess, is not that great. Many people like to have close that wireless microphone. So like I said, DJI, on DJI I can have it. DJI doesn't have input, but you attach USB-C. You know what I mean? Where's my have someone? So I don't know what they're looking and thinking about. So this is DJI. So DJI you see, they only have USB-C in the body. So what they do is, I kind of attach by rubber bands. That's my DJI receiver. So what you do is, you see USB-C here. You have USB-C. You run from that one USB-C to this USB-C. You don't need maybe 3.5, but if you have a camera Panasonic like that, the USB-C should allow to connect this. Suppose this DJI, I want to connect to Panasonic camera. So from here, from this USB-C, I run to Panasonic USB-C for the sound. It should work. So some people are complaining there is no jack because they buy microphones, you know, this Rode or whatever, or like this. Well, this can work with USB-C, but I can actually run, it says out. On the other side there's this out. I can run 3.5 too. If I connect one male to this out and another male to camera 3.5, it will work with 3.5. It will work with both 3.5 and USB-C. Now if Panasonic doesn't offer 3.5, then make at least USB-C. People can use wireless like that one, wireless DJI or some other brand. Otherwise they think it's kind of strange, because sometimes the sound is much better if you have at the same distance, but if you keep moving camera here and there, maybe it's not good enough sound. And those built-in microphones, they are not really shotgun microphones. Probably if you hold camera like that far away, 1 meter away, it's probably sound maybe not the best. Anyway, in my opinion, Leica should do something like that. How about body only? So let's see, body only. So let's see this one, Zitter body only. So now look, so you see it's kind of small sensor, but a little bigger than that. But I would think if that one's smaller, it's kind of for that smaller camera. I mean, proportion wise, I would think it's okay. It looks fine. But don't forget about microphones. You need microphones. If people do vlogging, they need microphones, external, good one. You can check on Mark Wayne's. You know Mark Wayne's. He's Thai guy, and he's like a food traveling to different countries, trying different food, and then coming back to Thailand. And he was saying something about Hawaii. I lived in Hawaii for like over 10 years. Then I think he go to Hawaii. Whatever. If you look at his setup, he has a huge microphone with, that furry dead cat on top. His microphone is so big, probably like, let's say inside of lens like that. On top, huge microphone. So I guess it's one of the problems for the video when people cannot hear good. There is a belief if somebody cannot hear good, they don't watch that video. So some vloggers like that Mark Wayne's, he has a huge microphone, now I can tell you. And that kind of microphone, I think he has big Rode. I don't know, because he has a dead head on top. I'm not sure sometimes. To me it's a Rode, maybe something else. So you probably most likely, those microphones have 3.5 jack. And people should connect somewhere. They like light travel, but they like to connect. Oh, me, I don't care. If USB-C, I can connect my wireless to USB-C, then fine. But I think actually Lumix should do something like that. They do have I think it's called LX100 Mark II. LX100 Mark II. But this one, for some reason, it is good, but the specs wise, to me it should be more rugged like GH6, make thicker, rugged, more like Sony A6700 or something. And then you can put lens. I would put probably 9mm. I don't really like those kinds zoom lenses. It's okay, but this one actually a good name, Samilux, but I like this 9s. So like this on the back, you can increase on the back, because if you want better specs, you need to increase a little bit on the back, have microphone jack, kind of like rugged like the Nikon. More specs, more like A6700. It's like Sony A6700. You see, like this rugged kind of. This actually a magnesium body, like that. Some kind of beefy, good specs camera. You see, it's not really a thin one. Yeah, thin one, you can make thin one for ladies maybe. But for some kind of, some kind of good processing, better stuff going. So you see, this in fact for the specs is like GH6 or 5 too. The sensor is a little bit bigger. To me, if you put that one Lumix sensor, just a little bit less, but kind of overall it's like that. I like that kind of look. If sensor is smaller, then body should be kind of smaller. but it does not mean thin. Like looks thick is good like that. Even more thick is okay. Here, put ventilation. Even like you see like that, put ventilation on the side. Oh, damn, what is it? Why it's not staying? So like here, you see, you have cards, everything. Suppose close to the screen, some ventilation. There is another camera. It's actually a good one for the ventilation. I think it's called Sigma FP. I mean, for the design, it might don't work good, but for the design. Let me see, because I have many pictures. So like, if you look at this, like this, you see. So this, you see on the bottom. You see on the bottom that one. That's a ventilation. It doesn't have a fan, but it has like a kind of like a radiator. So it has a plate which is like aluminum plate, like in old times. Amplifier, they put transistor on radiator, air radiator, you know, on the back for amplifiers. So kind of the same idea. They have big plate, and this is kind of like radiator. It's like a heat sink. It will take some temperature down. So I think for like smaller Lumix, kind of like that size, not that big, but I mean that look, with like that kind of ventilation, I think that would be a good design. So this is like suppose full frame, but you have this smaller and body kind of smaller, kind of like our Sony or Nikon Z30, but with ventilation. I think that model would go pretty good. My opinion. Why would I need to buy a huge camera like let me show you, GH6? Why would I need to buy a big camera like this and the sensor is small? They make everything small. Cut here like this and cut here too. All this is extra. Make a little bit thicker ventilation, kind of small, beefy, kind of miniature Leica that is not overheating. So that would be an okay decision. But to me, like, I cannot accept it. Honestly, I cannot. Every time I look at this, if I have this big body, and like suppose there is S5 Mark II-X, if the same body is sitting here, for some reason my mind is changing to bigger sensor. I would go with it. If it's smaller, I would get smaller one. Smaller for vlogging. I don't need big one for vlogging. I had camera. I actually think even APC sometimes, like normal camera APC with this top is too much for vlogging. If you want to hold and talk like it. So if you make something like the Z30, so now you see you have this one, you have minimalistic stuff around, small sensor and small everything, then it's okay. For me there is only one benefit. If I would go with this small, if everything else is small. But if there is body, one body, another body, one has bigger sensor, one smaller, my mind is changing to bigger one. I don't know why, I cannot buy. I would actually consider to buy this one. This is not bad. This is, for some reason, I don't know what they did. That lens is sharp as, like, to me, almost like Leica to me. It's kind of a Leica sharpness. Those Z, I think Z glass they changed some. Z glass is different. So if I would go to store and I see this camera with Leica lenses, I might grab that one if there is a microphone. And this camera has eye detection. So it has eye detection, I think face detection, and it costs $600 for vloggers. That's all they want. Okay, because you have Leica, maybe you can bump it up, not like to $2,000, because like suppose this A6700, it has good specs. The price is $1,300. Yeah, $1,400 suppose. So if there is Panasonic, a little bit smaller sensor, but Leica lenses and the same price, I think people would go with it. I would probably even buy that maybe. I don't mind. If I have extra money, I might buy. But today, actually, I don't mind to buy this one. There is another one, R7, like just for feel, for fun. So the R7, you see, cheap. You can buy for $400. And then my plan is there is a R lenses. R lenses are cheaper actually. Suppose R50mm Samilux. This one, I want to buy this one for fun. $800. Well, 800 is not 2,000, not 3,000 from Japan. So I'm thinking just for fun, get something like that. This will be double of in size of that Lumix. This is full size. Now when you go like this, why I do like sometimes R7 not R8. If you look at this, suppose this one, it doesn't say. What you do is, if you like to play with all Leica, what you do is beside that 1.4 you type 3 cam. Now if you see 3 cam, this like this, 3 cam, what is safari color? Interesting. They have safari color. Suppose I like safari color, but it doesn't matter to me. I mean, if you like something special, it's okay for collection. Now this 3 cam, but sometimes I'll show you why. I kind of changed to something else, but you got the idea about that kind of sensor. So if you type like, suppose 2 cam, now I suppose not Samilux, just any kind. Leica R. R is mount, so for range finding Leica is M, and this one mirror. I actually like mirror better. I don't like this range finders. This normal camera. So you say like, let's see this one, 2 cams. You see this, suppose Samilux 2 cam, everything fine, but 2K look nice, just for fun, photography. And then this particular Leica R8 or R9. R8 and R9 is 3 cam. 3 cam, it means, from what I found, basically 3 cam is on a lens. Our lens. So let me see if Japanese shows up. Like this one. They have, I think this one, 1, 2, 3, particularly design, they call 3 cam. Let me see, 3 cam. This is 2 cam. This is 3 cam. Let's see 3 cam. So now this considered as 3 cam. So I'm not sure which, the count this one, I believe. Certain things is 3 cam. And then certain things 2 cam. This is 2 cam. Some cool lenses could be actually 2 cam. It's a little bit older. So this is 2 cam. I think this, I'm not sure, I think this stick out more. Something to do with that one. I think this is stick out more. Some kind of piece of metal. So you got the idea, right? Oh no, that one too stick out somewhere. I'm not sure, but something to do with that mount. So now that R8 is for 3 cam and R9 is the last one. R9 is 3 cam. It looks the same. I don't see a big difference. It will cost more, but it's only, if you want to spend more, then buy the last one. R9 is the last one. I like that, the silver one. Pretty cool. And they have also, you see, like R8, R9, even binder the same. They're very similar. There is no big difference. So this is the last one. So R8, R9, they accept 3 cam lens. But if you wanna buy 2 cam, then you buy R7. You can buy older one, R5 or whatever. But if you want to buy newer, that would be the choice, I guess. I like this silver color. I don't know, I had black before, black camera on the sun, it was so hot. After that, I don't really like black cameras. If there is a choice, I'll buy a silver one, like that. I think that's pretty good. So this is for 2 cam. But here look 3, but for some reason this will accept 2 cam and that one 3 cam. So basically, if you like certain lenses that may be too expensive, but you can buy them 2 cam, then you need to have this kind of body. I like actually the design. Honestly, I like design R7 better than R8. I don't really like the triangle shape. To me, this is more normal kind of shape. But honestly, at the same time, I like kind of newer lenses. I don't wanna. The older lenses with more risk, dust and yellow, some kind of glass. You know that the grease, no grease or whatever. Something works kind of strange. So now if you look at this Leica, real Leica, you see it's a big glass which would be kind of like a sensor. And then according to that, if you measure a little bit more on the right, a little bit more on the left, I would say 1.5 size right, 1.5 size left, something like that. The proportion wise, that would be like a camera. So to me, if you make smaller sensor, you need to reduce proportions. I mean, in my mind, I don't know how you look. This camera look very funny, which looks abnormally big. I think it's called Fuji GW690. This camera is crazy big. Like on the picture is not, but when people hold, it look kind of big. So suppose this camera is big, but if you look for the lens, so the same kind of distance here and the same there, even less. But if I look at the size inside of the frame, it's kind of like a little the same kind here, the same kind there. But this is huge. So to me, if you make smaller sensor, then make body small. My opinion. So what else? I do like Z30. They have Z9, not Z9, G9. To me, it looks the same. Lumix. I don't see the body. The body look kind of similar to me. So suppose if you would have this sensor here, you need to stop here, and if you go this way, half of the handle cut, this cut, and on the top cut. I think that model is okay. This is cheap. Why it's so cheap? G9, 549. I think this one, something wrong with it. To me, it's very cheap. This camera should cost like $1 grand. I'll check later. Maybe I should get some kind of cheap stuff like this and put 9mm lens. That's it, I'm ready to go. Autofocus, forget it. Just use depth of field, set on manual. The problem is with depth of field, sometimes like if you would have remote control, and on remote control you would change depth of field, then it would be easier. I think somebody should consider it, because if you go towards camera, then depth of field, you left the place. What if you can ask the friend, stand there, I'm gonna be there. But if you don't have a friend, then it's a problem. To me, it's a problem. You can put something there, your back, focus on the back, and then set like on manual and push shooting. But I think they should have remote. On the remote, change, like kind of like manual, but on the remote, like on TV, up and down button. So it's manual, but you kind of look in your flip screen and you change the sharpness, but it will stay in, you know, the manual mode, but you do it with the remote. Nobody is offering it. I actually like it, because otherwise you need to leave place, focus on the back or whatever. Become more complicated. Anyway, why this is so, but this one, it looked to me like that big camera with small sensor, like this. See, a huge camera with tiny sensor. So like I said, this one, so this one like 1 centimeter you can cut, and this one half handle cut, and top less. So out of this, make new camera, new name, face after focus, and headphone jack. Then it should work. This one, make small. I think you had some cameras like that, if they are listening. Anyway, why prices went down that much? Why $700? I think this camera should cost like 1,500, $2,000. This camera has face autofocus. This could be a good choice for those who don't like to spend money. I think, oh, I know why. I think they have a Mark II right now. I think Mark II has face autofocus. Yeah, that's why. So basically Mark II. But if you want to save money, some kind of camera, cheap one. This one you can live in the car. No, I wouldn't live in the car, because if I have 9mm lens, I don't want to live in the car. But anyway, that's all I can say. It's okay, but I think they should change something, especially microphones and face detection with contrast mixed. They should make every camera like S5 2X for autofocus. Not worse. Better is okay, not worse. That's all I can say. Have a good time. Bye.